Okay, I'm actually surprised no one has done this before. I don't remember how, I just remember thinking about Team Rocket openings, and I'm like, oh, someone's clearly ranked these by now. After looking for 5 minutes, I really didn't find one, and I'm generally surprised. Like, no one's really ranked these. Well, I'm going to change that, or at least I'm going to try and change that because I don't think my opinion is valid. I first want to explain what I'm going to be ranking since they technically have 500 different versions. I'm talking more per region, more or less like Kanto, Johto, Hoenn, that sort of thing. I'm not really going to watch all 1,000 episodes just to see all 1,000 different variants. No, 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 no. And what I will be ranking is more or less when the motto is said, like what's in the background, what are Jesse and James doing, the instruments, and if the lyrics fit well with the music, stuff like that. I want to keep things fair and rank them based on what was available during that time, so I don't think it's valid to rank Kantos to Journeys, but I do think it will be valid to compare something more close like Hoenn to Sinnoh or Unova to Kalos, because they're like right next to each other. I'll try to keep my opinion out of it, so take it with a side of salt. I will also only be doing Jesse and James mono, so no Butch, no Butch and no Cassidy, and no Ash and Pals copying. Hopefully this isn't bland, and let's do this. Hi, future me here. I just wanted to say that I don't want to deal with like copyright problems and that sort of thing, so I'll be playing it safe and only using pictures of said openings. Just wanted to point that out, and I will also be leaving a link to all the videos I ended up using to make this tier list, so then you guys can like go and validate and see like which ones I use, so then my opinion might be more validated. Just wanted to let you guys know. Hi, future me here, and I just wanted to say, after doing a bit more research, I'm not so sure that the one I use for Unova or Black and White is the correct version, so please be nice to me and don't butcher me in the comments. I tried my best, okay? I just don't know anything about Gen 5. Please have mercy on me. Indigo League. I'm also going to be counting this one for Orange Island, so yeah. I mean, the original isn't bad. I know it's the start, but they do try their best to give it more flair, like having a zoom into Jesse and James when they say their names. I don't know. Maybe I'm so used to the Wobbuffet by now that it just felt unnatural, but I still like it. An A tier for me. Johto. It's basically just the same as the original, but at the very end they add the Wobbuffet. Still an A tier, and don't question the picture that I used for the tier list. Hoenn. Can I just say, they got a bigger budget. No, I didn't look that up, but there were signs. Firstly, they open with the universe as their background, go into a flame background with the R there, falling from space icing into the R being behind them once again. 4 different backgrounds here, and they're really good. Another thing is that Meowth gets more lines here, and when James does end up catching Mime Jr., it tries to copy Wobbuffet at the end, which is nice. 2 things that I really don't like is that the first few lines and the final lines get changed here, and I don't mind the lines, it's just that they don't fit really well with the pace of the music, so it kind of like bumps it down a bit for me. Other than those part, this is a very solid opening for me. They did a great job with the backgrounds. Top of A tier for me. Would have gotten a better score, but I feel like those few lines kind of ruined it for me. Sinnoh. So everything here gets changed. The music, the lines, the background, you name it. The only thing they kept the same is the ending. The music is fine. It's like they're trying to build suspense up. The best part is hearing the strings. I think those are strings. I don't mind the new lines, but the pace they are singing at times it doesn't really blend well with the music. So it feels like they're their own 2 separate things, which isn't good when the past music fit well with the lyrics and the pace they were saying it at. For the background, they really toned it down. Most of it's just a bright pink or blue background until the end where they are in space again. But this time the R is 3D and it's spinning around. Yeah, I'm not a fan of this. Definitely a downgrade from the Advanced series. C tier. Wobbuffet definitely saved it. Unova. I will say they had different versions for Unova. Immediately was given 5 different versions for Black and White when looked up on YouTube. I'm going with the classics line for this one. I think this is the right one, as I'm thinking this was the one that they most commonly use. Guys, remember, little to no experience with Gen 5, but that does get some points in my book. One last thing before I actually begin, James finally has his iconic blue rose here. In past versions, he had a red rose, but I'm just so happy he finally has his blue rose. Again, more points in my book. Where to begin? First, they got to color coordinate roses and backgrounds. There are petals in the background until the finer lyrics are being said, the black turning into pink or blue, depending on Jesse and James being on screen. Backgrounds are just great. They return to the iconic classic lyrics. The music, the more I paid attention, the more I was happy with this choice. They did something similar to Diamond and Pearl with the music, trying to be suspenseful, but they actually pulled it off here. With it being quiet, but just loud enough that you can hear it. Or maybe that was just a YouTube video, and it's actually quite loud in the actual series. The save background, when they say their names, and the freeze frames was them doing 3 copies of the freeze frame. Guys, I tried to explain it the best I can. The final background being them zooming, and then you just see them in space with the art being written. And oh boy, James got a glow up. This man, I love everything about him in this opening. His poses, his movements, that's really it. But they gave him a glow up in this one. Easy S tier. Kalos. Okay, so they basically looked at black and white and were like, how do you make this better? This is the sequel that is 100% better than the original. Firstly, they went back to the song they used in the original, but an organ is what opens, and then the other instruments come in, and it's just so good. For the backgrounds, they basically took the same backgrounds from black and white, and then added more details in the background. I don't know how to describe these, but so much is going on in them. The color coordination is still here, and oh, the lighting. Oh my gosh, why is it so good? So much detail. Also, Jessie loses her rose here, but I don't mind that. I 100% think that only James should have a rose in these openings. They do lose their city backgrounds when they say their names, but they get replaced with these spotlights. They spin, pose, say their name, and boom, a spotlight. What an upgrade. And it all ends with them standing as the camera spins around them and a flame R appears behind them. Meowth and Wobbuffet come in, and the R changes into a solid with a ding! They do lose their movements in the beginning, but I don't mind. Everything about this opening is just perfection. Top of S. Alola. One thing I want to point out is that the opening I have linked doesn't have the first 5-ish seconds of the opening, but I'm still going to mention it. Just a clarification if everyone gets confused. So right into the beginning, I like how it starts with their shadows, and they're by a big R made of smaller R's. I don't know why, I just like this. Here they change everything but the ending of That's Right, Wobbuffet. Not even a Meowth, that's right. Jessie, James, and Meowth get 7 seconds to say about 3 to 5 lines, with the final one being their names. This time the background goes from a bright white all the way to the members' coordinated color, Meowth being yellow, while having some rose petals falling. The bright white light is supposed to be the sun since you can see the member's shadow. Jessie and James start by walking, stop, move their hands out, and pose, and their background changes into a very good high detail drawing of their face. While their hands are moving outward, Jessie spins while the camera doesn't move, and the camera spins around James. Meowth, on the other hand, is sort of raising his legs. I don't know how to explain that. Zooms in on his head and does 2 backflips, poses, and the very good high detail background appears. And the ending, here's where Jessie and James stand in just a way that they make the R. That is so good, and the background is back to them being in space with the universe behind them. The lyrics aren't bad in my opinion. They're actually really good, and I do think they fit well with the music. Oh my gosh, the music. Oh my gosh, I love this music. I have no idea what instruments are used at the beginning. Maybe brass, I don't know. But they're wind instruments, and I think some strings as well that come in near the end of James' lines. They are so good. I just like how the music starts intense, calms down a bit, and gets intense again at the end. The music here is so good. S tier. Journeys. Can I start by saying that all of the transitions for each background were really smooth? You start with the deserted town, it crumbles flying to the top right, and a bright yellow-orange background is here. 2 black lines come in and change the top half into pink with Jessie and the bottom half into blue with James, and a sort of semi-swirl happens, and they are in space again, with the universe rising from below into an R appearing. These are the classic lines, so not much can really be said here. I do enjoy the poses that Jesse and James have in the first half, to the second half having them dance for a bit before doing the R pose again, but not as great as it was done in Lola, since Jesse here really doesn't come back and sort of complete the R. I really have no idea how to explain this. Meowth does 2 backflips again and poses, and the Wobbuffet at the end, perfection. Oh, can I just say, that saxophone solo at the end, very, very good. Best version of any Team Rocket background music ever. I feel like other than the Ruined City background, they sort of don't do much with the backgrounds here. Other than the transitions that were pretty good, they added the sax solo and tried their best to give them good poses. I don't know, I feel like it's a downgrade after what we got from the past 3 generations that were basically all over the top. Not by much, it was still good, but I don't feel that much excitement. High A for me. Final. So they immediately made this one all over the top. Like, why are Jesse and James yelling all their lines? I kind of like it, but I don't know why. The really high detail motions, like when they're saying their opening lines, why are these movements so fluid and so clean? Jesse starts with her background being the crumbled city, and James goes into a field to grab a rose. It's not blue. That really sucks. Into Jesse being in space with some shooting star appearing behind her, into James having a very sparkly background with him lifting the non-blue rose as petals fly off. Jesse spins into a spotlight while James backflips, and it ends with them in space again, holding hands, with Meowth coming in to say his lines, and it ending with a Wobbuffet as the R appears behind them. For the music, they basically used the original music, but they redid it so it sounds nicer, but no sax solo, and the lyrics are the original. Other than the clean movement and the backgrounds, this is okay. Like, I get they are yelling to make it more dramatic, but as this is the final time we will ever get to hear this opening, the final time we get to hear Prepare for Trouble and Make It Double, the final time we see Team Rocket come onto screen to steal Pikachu and some other Pokemon, the final time we hear Meowth, that's right, Wobbuffet, with an R appearing behind them, the final time we get to see them. And this is all we get. It's not bad, but as the final time, it's not good. Maybe I was expecting something more, but I'm sorry. B tier for me. So that's my ranking. I don't know what else to say. I did enjoy looking up these Team Rocket openings throughout the series and seeing each one getting better for most of the time. Are my sources valid? I don't know. I hope they are. If they aren't, that means I'll have to do this video again in 5 years. Bye!